Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann time here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday morning, February the 12th. It's Lincoln's birthday. Abraham Lincoln. I'm Joe Callahan.
Oh.
Around the table is Melissa Smith. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, guys.
And Tim Draper's here. Hi, Tim.
Morning, everybody.
And John Ward is joining us as well.
Nice
Nice to have you all here with us. And Melissa, it is time for... Oh, I was going to use this as a trivia question.
Oh.
Who knows this? Abraham Lincoln's wife's name is?
Mary Todd.
It is Mary Todd. Very good.
Wow.
Mrs.
We
Lincoln.
didn't even have a...
Lincoln.
I just needed to map
We did no buzzer. We had no buzzer. I thought it was a little like Jeopardy. Who is Mary Todd Lincoln?
Had to shout it out.
I
That's
do
right.
not want to play Jeopardy with Tim.
Did you know it was
Actually, you do.
now that he heard his Mary? Does that
I just
ring a
needed
bell?
a
or
minute to process the question, the direction of I thought the trivia was going to be related to St. Antoine community or something. I didn't know you were going to bring it back to...
Abraham Lincoln trivia.
So, well done, Tim.
It is time for a St. Antoine community message, though, Melissa, so I'll give that over to you now.
Yeah, so we are a large long-term care campus, and we are located in northern Rhode Island in North Smithfield on the line of Blackstone, Mass, and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer a full continuum of services from assisted living to short and long-term skill care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab facility as well as 2 levels of memory care on our property, assisted living, and then a skilled care level as well. If you are interested in learning more about St. Antoine Community and all the services available, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can call me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right, very good there, Melissa. Well, not this really affects anybody here in the Northern Rhode Island community, but the Echo Village finally opened after a year and a month delays down there in Providence, right off 146 on Victor Street.
Yep, I went down there yesterday. I was at the
45
celebration.
Were you 45 one-room pallet units? Were you able to go into one and see what it looked like? What do you think? Thoughts?
It's small, but it has everything you need. Right? It's got some shelves.
$102,000 per unit.
Per barn, per shed. It's not much bigger than a shed.
You can buy a house on Amazon for $50,000.
Yeah.
A granny pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
That's what they're calling it.
if it for what its purpose is, I think it's perfectly fine. You know,
Okay.
there's a building for bathrooms and showers and laundry. Then there's a check-in type facility, and then sort of a communal area. So they have lots of wraparound services for people who go there.
So in the shed itself,
bed,
one bed, and what else?
like a table. I think they have two beds units because there's some that are bigger than others.
Okay.
But the one I looked at was a one bed, had shelves, a heater, an air conditioner, and a fire suppression system.
Oh, that's
Of
big.
course.
Yeah.
And fire retardant paint.
Paint.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really basic. It's not like there's
So
much
there's
to it.
There's no sink or anything? There's
I
no
don't
refrigerator or
know.
anything? No.
No.
Okay. No stove.
No. All that stuff is in a separate building. in a
And but
communal
there's 2 doors though, right? There's a front door and like a back door, because that's what I heard, that had to have 2 egresses.
building. I
That was
didn't
one of the
notice that
deals.
unless it's on the side.
Okay.
You go in the front, the door opens, and you just
Yeah.
kind of peek in. So
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't see a second door.
No.
How wide is it?
That wide. It's probably
I'm
10 by 12, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Interestingly, somebody did point out when you get to that $102,000 per unit, you're talking something in excess of $3.5 million
Oh, for the whole project.
for the whole project.
Oh yeah, but because then there's lighting, there's asphalt paved sidewalks to each unit.
But the point was, you could have put a building up for that money.
Could put a camper up. Just roll a camper in, and then tell me what's different about that.
But even if they'd have built a building, it wouldn't have cost. Well, I'm sorry, it's the state. It would probably cost $8 million.
Right.
But logically, you could have put a building up for that less than that.
I think that it costs more for all the stuff that they were required to do by code than
Yes.
it did for the building itself.
Well, that's the big.
and that's the insanity.
That's the big
of it.
joke.
Right. That's the
Is
insanity.
The insanity of an individual fire suppression unit in a space that if you're in a panic and it's on fire, you take 3 steps out the door.
you're out.
Yeah, you're out the door. I mean, the bed's here, the door's here, so it's not like that's very far
But
away.
is there something more attractive? I mean, I think we've talked about like homeless population in general and the barriers to getting them into shelters and like, you know, seeking supports. Is there something more attractive about the setup of private pods versus going and checking into a building? Like, this could also be, we don't know, right? We've gone in circles about, you know, what is the barrier and what would get them or convince them to come in and seek support and help. If this is sort of a test run to see, does this model work better where it's like private little huts versus going into a building where there's a corridor and there's more crossover with, I don't know.
I would think that it would be better having your own private space, you know, regardless of what it is, than it would be going into I want to say Charles Gate. It's probably a bad example because there's individual rooms there too. And it's sort of like being in a hotel, except it's more like Garden City where it's outdoor. Rooms.
So this is also for families to check in too, right? So I'm envisioning, right, like if I'm a mom with kids,
You can get
I would feel somehow maybe this is a more attractive setup for me and my family, the privacy of it, than in a hallway or like a building like Charles Gate where I don't know.
I think part of this will.
But there's only 2 beds in the biggest one.
I think in the biggest one's only 2.
So I'm
but
not
you can
sure
still
that
bring
will-
one kid,
Right.
or it could be a couple.
Or-
A couple of
But,
small kids.
Or a
I
couple
guess
of small
to your
kids.
point about the in the building or the units, think about getting up at 6 in the morning to go to the bathroom and go wash, and you're walking out into
Cold temperatures.
15 degrees
Yeah, I mean, in some places there's
instead of just
way in the back.
going down the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious to see. It's opening, right? So here
Today,
we are,
they're
and
starting
let's see.
to bring people in today. Phased in, they called it.
So how do the homeless get a little house?
So the House of Hope CDC, Community Development Corporation, they're the ones that are managing the property, and they have a team that goes out into the streets to find people, and then they screen them and they triage them and decide who really can make it here and who can't. And they're not taking the drug addicts and all that other stuff, I don't believe, or the severely mentally challenged. I don't think they're bringing those people in. They're bringing people in who sort of have a shot here. The other ones they're going to try to steer towards some of the other facilities that have more services in them. And I was thinking, is this like an overnight shelter? It's really not. You can bring your stuff and put it in here.
So how long
in
do you
these
get it?
rooms.
How long do you
I
get
don't
it
know.
for?
They didn't
a
say
week
how long.
or a
They didn't
month?
say how long.
No? Okay.
But my guess is it's longer than a week.
Yeah. All right. So, John, the question then to you is, would something like this be good in the city of Woonsocket? I don't know where you'd put it. Taking the
I just
land
don't-
situation out of the
I
equation.
can't think of any scenario where I would want to see these little
Huts.
bungalows
Yeah. Okay.
sitting in a pile somewhere. The city already owns a couple of buildings that would accommodate sheltering. They've been talking about using one of those facilities, and if they're doing that, they should keep going. You don't want to start something from scratch.
No. Okay.
I understand what Melissa's saying, but that comes down to one of these things I said when I argued with some education people many years ago, where they were arguing about the individuality and how every person has their own individual needs and you have to accommodate those needs. And it's like, okay, so basically you want to tutor every child individually with one teacher is what you're saying. And so everybody gets exactly what they want, not what the system or the taxpayers can afford to provide to them that covers the greatest, serves the greatest need with the best resource balance. That's what I fear is when they get into, well, this person doesn't like that, so we're going to do something else to accommodate them. It's like at some point you say, stop.
Yeah.
Here's what we offer. Take it.
Take-
If you
take
don't
it or
like
leave
it,
it.
I'm sorry.
This
if
is
you don't
what we
want to
have.
live under a bridge,
Yeah.
well, you can't live under our bridges. Get out of town. Go somewhere else. At the point where they offer a reasonable amount of sheltering is the time to put in the ordinance that says you cannot stay on city property. You can't camp on city property like they've done in other communities. You cannot continue to allow people to just randomly set up a tent. I mean, there's a guy off of Privilege Street right now that's got a tent, he's got a flag, he's got all kinds of accessories outside his tent. He's turning it into they got a community going there
Yeah.
because there's no rules and no cost. Well, you can't do that forever.
Right.
Period. There's people building condos across the street. People are going to want to buy them and live in them. and they're going to have to look out at a homeless encampment across the street. That doesn't sell.
At the pallets, Tim, just thinking of the beds, did they come with sheets and blankets and pillows?
Yeah.
Well, who's in charge of cleaning
Laundry.
those?
Well, I think that's the House of Hope.
They'll come in
They'll
every
come in
day,
and-
or
I don't know if they'll come in every day, but
Yeah.
I'm sure when it turns over, they go in, they do a deep clean.
yeah,
And then, but again, there's facilities for washers and dryers on the property, in a building that if you don't like, if your sheets are messy, you just could go in there and do your laundry.
yeah.
I guess my question would be who's paying for the soap and all that other stuff. But there's a lot of community support that provides some of these basics. You know, our foundation donated $10,000 to House Hope last year.
So it's you.
For this purpose.
You're buying the soap.
We're buying a soap, and they get a little care package when they go in there with the toothbrush and deodorant and the basics when they get in there, and that's donated by lots of other organizations around here. Amenity Aid is another organization in the Warwick area. They are providing a lot of the hygiene products. Is that what they call them? Hygiene products to the village. So that everybody, again, will have something that they need to get in there. And they're trying to get them out. It's not like they want them to move in here and be here permanently.
Right.
This is temporary. We're going to try to, with all these other wraparound services that we have, we're going to try to put you into permanent housing, affordable or otherwise, and we're going to give you the services to help you get there.
Like, let's try to find you a job if you don't have one.
Exactly. All those
that pays
all those services
decently enough so you
that
can move out of
get
this into something
right,
else.
right.
So this isn't just people looking to escape the cold. This is people that are really
It's
like
a little-
signing up for.
It's a little bit of both, I think. I think they want to bring, if people are on the street and that they don't want them on the street, then this is an alternative for them to have a warm place at night during that period of time. But my understanding of the project is they're trying to solve the housing issue by bringing people in and giving them the services that they need in order to get them up and back on their feet. Because a lot of the housing issues are people who just, they're working poor, right? They have jobs, they just can't afford the rent.
Okay.
I just want to point out, we were talking about Woonsocket and the possibilities in Woonsocket. As we sit here today, with the shelter that was set up in the old social department store, the temporary shelter there that's eventually going to have to leave. It's a building owned by Thunder Mist. There are over 60 beds nightly available in Woonsocket as it is in shelters. So it's not like the city does nothing already.
All right.
It does. The question is, when we start accommodating all the people, as was noted, our population of homeless rose by 30% over 1 year. A lot of that, I believe, has to do with the fact that we are known to be, and the word is spreading, as these other communities saying you can't stay on city property. They're moving here because we have the social service hub down on Social Street, where you get Community Care Alliance. You've got Thunder Mist. They own, and between that, the Boys and Girls Club and the school, you're talking about 8 separate buildings all within that neighborhood. And now we're talking about putting another homeless shelter there. So homeless people will tend to congregate there because why not? You don't have to travel far to get the services you need. It's the easiest place to go to get. You go to Providence, I have no idea how many different neighborhoods you have to move to get. And their neighborhoods are the size of the city of Woonsocket.
And everybody has an agency. Everybody has a nonprofit in their communities. The West End community, the South Side.
Right.
Yeah.
You try to go from the West End to the South Side. It's like going from here to
Cumberland?
Chapel.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's a long way.
It reminded me when you were talking about it, John, I don't like what they're offering. They should have something else. And it just reminds me of going to college. You got the dorm room.
Yeah.
Bed, closet, desk, chair,
Right. Yep.
shelf, mirror. That's it. That's all you got.
Congregating bathroom down the hall.
That's
with
right.
Everybody else.
And so if you didn't like it, okay,
There
don't
was
live
talk.
here.
There was talk of using the old Holy Family Church convent for a shelter or a transition home. And the thing about, if you've never been in a convent, when you go into a convent, you've got the group rooms for the dining and the living room and all of those things. And then you get upstairs and you get into where they sleep, where you have a room in the middle of the hallway that has 2 or 3 showers and a bathtub. And then you have what are classically referred to as their cells.
Okay.
Bed.
And they're about the same size as a prison cell. I would think a prison cell is actually bigger.
A little larger.
There's enough room for a small table and a bed. That's it.
Okay.
They're praying a lot. So.
That's right. All right, we got to take a break here in the Coffee Am program, and there's a message we got to get to, and we will when we come back. But it's time for a second message, Melissa, from the St. Antoine communities, please.
So I thought I would just talk a little bit about volunteerism at St. Antoine Community. Before COVID, we probably had well over 150 to 200 volunteers at any given point at any level of care, but just whether it was a one-time-a-week visitor or everyday visitor, mostly folks that were retired just looking to give back. And that number's dwindled tremendously. I think COVID changed the rules in many ways as far as who we could allow into our community and obviously infection control measures. But we're sort of out of that now. And I just wanted to make sure folks felt like they could reach out if they were looking to kind of invest some time in helping those in need and just kind of providing some companionship and filling in the gaps where staff maybe can't give the extra TLC to someone who might just need a friend to sit and play a round of cards with. So if you are interested in volunteering at St. Antoine Community, I encourage you. You can reach out to me. I can explain to you the application process and what we do to vet you. But you can call me at 401-767-3500 and be glad to listen to you and hear what your interests are. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Melissa. And the Coffee Am program that will continue here on ON Radio.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The Coffee Am panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON AM and FM.
Alrighty, Coffee In on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with John Ward and Tim Draper and Melissa Smith. And over at St. Antoine Communities, Melissa, because they're just saying the flu is just rampant around the United States. New strains just come out. Are you seeing a lot of flu cases at St. Antoine's?
No more than usual, I have to say. I think that
that's a good thing then.
We had a little wave right before Christmas and right after New Year's, so we had a little break in the middle. I wouldn't say anything out of the ordinary. I would say more staff have had the flu, but we just have such good infection control protocols at this point that they know enough, the signs, symptoms, whatever. They're staying home, removing themselves. But having kids in the school system, the schools are rampant. So there's that. So, but no, I would say so far it's been a okay season, not the worst we've ever had. But I know I can understand why everybody's concerned because the numbers reported on the news are pretty elevated.
Yeah,
they're pretty
high.
high.
Really high.
Yep.
All right. Note's been called in, 766-1240. Just says to the panel, but maybe John has a better take on this. Is there any updates about the possibility of CVS leaving Woonsocket? What are you hearing? What do you know? other than what you spoke about last week.
No, I'm effectively retired from government because nobody calls me anymore.
No one tells you anything anymore? No, darn.
Matter of fact,
You got to read it just like the rest of us, schlubs.
I was driving to drop off the dog, and it occurs to me that I used to literally spend every morning speaking with the solicitor about what's going on.
Yeah.
As I would drive up to drop off the dog or drive back here. I have easily a dozen emails to him and several phone calls that have gone unresponded to. Apparently city government is ghosting me.
Yep.
Okay. Because now you're just citizen ward.
Now I'm just a citizen.
Citizen
And
Kane.
citizens, I guess, don't count.
We'll get to you eventually.
Only those people who are in positions to affect their outcomes.
Yeah, yeah.
Even with my former council colleagues, I have not been ghosted, but the things I ask for through them, I'm still not getting responses to. Nothing seems to come my way for information
Okay.
that I request.
All right, so you haven't heard anything new about... I haven't heard anything
only,
new about
Only
CBS
that they continually
possibly.
laying off more people, with
Oh,
the
yeah.
newest layoffs coming with some local finance people being laid off.
Yeah.
I just think that we're going to see CVS turn into something unrecognizable because there's so much pressure for them on their prescription drug, their Caremark division for the prescription drug, what do you call them? The money they make off of the legal kickbacks kind of thing.
Profit?
And this, it's something, this something else that's in there,
Okay.
some formula. And then the split off with Aetna going back to Hartford pretty much. And it's a shrinking size, but it's also going to probably rely a lot less on their retail front. And I don't know what it's going to turn into, but there's a lot of empty parking spaces up in Industrial Park right now.
All right, moving along. Governor Dan McKee is doubling down. He wants an assault weapons ban, saying he's renewing his call for the ban on the assault-style weapons in a statement yesterday. Quote, "We want to do everything we can to protect everyone in this state," unquote.
I want it to be 70 degrees tomorrow and the sun and all the snow going so I can go golfing, but it's not going to
Not
happen.
going to happen. You don't think you don't see this ban
He
coming
might.
in?
He might get something. The problem is, the pushback is always, tell me what an assault weapon is.
Well, the ban would prohibit the purchase, sale, manufacture,
Particular
possession
models,
of
right?
assault-style guns, including semi-auto shotguns, rifles, pistols, anywhere in the state.
All semi-automatic pistols?
Semi-auto shotguns, comma, rifles,
Yeah.
comma,
Okay.
and pistols.
But every Glock and 9mm, every other 9mm gun is a semi-automatic.
Is it?
Matter of fact, every handgun is a semi-automatic.
Right.
Oh, so
Pull the trigger.
They don't make
Fires,
they don't make a handgun.
click, pull the trigger
that
again,
you can
click.
only put one
That's
bullet into the
semi-automatic.
gun at a time, except the flintlock.
Right.
So if you want to go back to the flintlock and the ball,
In the
we can load it
1700s?
up and jam it in there. But other than that, every handgun is semi-automatic. That's how ignorant these people are that write this stuff.
Wow. Okay. So basically, if we ban the assault style guns, we're going to ban all the guns.
I wanna
A
know-
revolver. You know why it's called a revolver?
Because it
the
goes in a
cylinder
circle.
revolves,
Right.
and you push the trigger, and a bullet
Goes to
comes
the
out,
next one.
and it revolves.
Yeah.
And another bullet's set up. That's semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic. Okay.
What I want to know. So he said that he put it in his budget.
Yes.
He did.
How do you? What do
It's in
you
his
put in your budget?
2025 budget
The
proposal.
budget has.
I thought
the
that's a
if you
numbers
read
issue.
if you read the budget,
Yeah.
it has the
Which I'll never
financial
do.
sections, Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. You get various things in there. And then you get into the further down in the articles. Like I picked up in Article 7, I believe, this year is education, where they literally will go into these different categories of state statute, and they will amend sections of the statute that are affected by the budget or in order to affect parts of the budget. So and I think one of the arguments that the legislators are gonna have a problem overcoming is the fact that in order to debate something on the floor related to the budget, it has to be germane to the budget, the finances, something to do with the money collected or spent. And he just arbitrarily took this gun law and stuck it in there to amend into one of the articles. But he should be able to provide a linkage to the budget, whether it's in revenue or expense. And I don't know that he has done that at this point. So you could argue as a parliamentary thing that it's not germane to the budget and it doesn't even belong in there and just throw it out.
I would agree with that.
But he may argue that there may be some revenue impact for taxes or whatever he may
Well, he's gonna
argue.
because he's gonna say that you have to register your semi-automatic weapon. If you have it, you have 25 days to register, or 2 months to register, or whatever the language.
Don't they
is.
already do that when you buy one?
Mine is.
What are they going to do with all the AR-15s that are around the state already?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're going to register them.
It's the standard method for those that want an effective, easy to use weapon to defend themselves in their homes. Locked up in most of them locked up in cabinets,
Right.
wall safes somewhere that's safe and secure, but easily accessible. And what are you going to do? Collect them all?
Melissa, any thoughts on what the governor wants to
I feel
do?
like I just got called out by the teacher.
You did. Let's go.
Writing
Come on.
an email and not
Let's get
paying
your
attention.
opinion on this
Can you
table right now. I'm going to guess it.
Did I
but
hear you
should-
whispering from my cold dead hands?
Okay, Chuck Heston.
Okay, sorry, Joe. Repeat the question.
It's just that the governor wants to have an assault weapons ban.
I knew that part
as
of
you
it.
heard
Okay.
John and Tim talk about. Well, that it's going to turn into every gun
Yeah.
owned in the state of Rhode Island. And just where do you stand on that issue?
I actually support our governor in
Okay,
that.
all
So
right.
I'm not a gun owner. I don't believe in.
Oh, I'm not a gun
No,
owner
I
either.
just any automatic weapon. I get all your little.
You can't have an
technical-
automatic. Don't worry. You can't own
have
an
one.
automatic weapon unless it's the military use.
These are semis.
Then that's one of the confusions just by, and it's not to criticize you. Your reaction is automatic.
Right.
Automatic weapon. But it's
Yeah, it's
illegal
bad.
already to own an automatic weapon. You
Yeah.
can't have one.
Okay.
So this is where you got to pull a trigger each time.
Pun intended? Oh, no, I thought you were trying to make a pun. I'm pulling the trigger on something. All right. Well, that's
Who
what
do you think you are, me?
Okay, moving on. State Rep Enrique Sanchez says he's standing firm. He will not resign. This is the man that was arrested for
But he won't
drunk driving.
apologize either.
Well, he's saying there's
you hear what
nothing to
he said?
apologize to because I had a medical issue. What am I apologizing for?
Medical issue, my ass.
All right.
He said his excuse
Yeah,
was, "We
he's
have a
nuts.
president who's been convicted 30 times."
Did he
and
say
we're,
that?
Yeah, and we're worried about me. It's kind of what he said.
Is he?
Paraphrasing,
Okay,
but
I
that's
don't,
pretty much what he said.
Yeah, I don't have that in here. It's just that he said he was not intoxicated.
Find that line.
Except-
Find that line.
Except the arresting officer said in his report that he appeared disoriented and smelled of alcohol. And then he said he
so
wasn't drinking, and later he said he was drinking.
Yeah,
so
he's a liar.
Which is it? But he's not stepping down. Nope, he's getting
Him
too
and
many.
Bill Clinton.
Too many constituents have come out and said, "We're behind you. We still like you, and we're okay." So
Those must be the same constituents that would love to see the criminal illegals that murder and rape be able to stay in the country.
maybe I don't know. What are you looking up, Tim?
I'm looking up if I can
quote.
find that quote.
Directly from Enrique
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
not saying he should just get out of office.
No.
It's up to the voters to throw him out of office.
All right.
I just would like to see him acknowledge
Own
the
it.
wrongdoing and apologize.
Be honest about the whole
Be
thing.
honest about it.
Yeah.
So how is
Okay.
that any different than I became pervy recently in a conversation, water cooler conversation at work, side chat and stuff. And there's a few folks that live in the Uxbridge area, and my understanding is that the superintendent, I think, in Uxbridge was recently.
Yes, he was. He was pulled over for DUI,
yes.
OUI in Massachusetts.
And I think essentially asked to resign as a result, or they voted. I think
he was put on paid leave while they was investigated. I
and
don't
they
know.
surveyed all the staff,
And what they say?
and so I believe they agree that he should have to
should
step
go.
down. He
Okay.
should go.
Has he?
I don't know. I don't know the follow up, and I was going to ask you that. But I, when I kind of challenged that thought in my head a little bit. I mean, some people, poor judgment,
Yeah.
mistake. Who knows if it was 2 or 3 drinks versus 7 or 8? I don't know. We don't need to get into the technicalities. But you're in a position of leadership.
Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of times the follow up. We hear the
We
big
don't.
splash. You've
Right.
been arrested, and
Right.
you never hear what happens after the fact.
Exactly.
kind
But
of
the
thing.
only thing, going back to your story, is having him own it is a big part of it.
Okay.
So losing your job or asking to be, stepped down, I'm not sure.
All right.
Everyone's aggressively typing, and I did that, and I got in
can't
trouble.
find-
I
I
just
know,
want
I
to let
can't
you
find
know.
You were not in trouble.
I was typing away, and I got called out by the principal,
And,
And you guys are-
We just asked you a question. That's all.
and I wasn't paying attention.
well, that's not our fault, no, is it?
What if my mom is listening? This was
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Mom, she's fine.
All right, we're going to take a break here. You didn't find anything about
No,
this?
I couldn't find it. It might have been a Facebook post or something.
Right.
Which, you can't believe anything.
Over the past 2 days, we've been talking a little bit about the Super Bowl commercials. The one I forgot to bring up was I thought was just the worst one going was for Mountain Dew with Seal as a seal.
Oh my
I'm like, does he?
That
And then he was
was
in.
so
you see him in the back of the boat though at the end.
Oh
of the
yeah, at
commercial,
the end
right?
it goes a good seal,
Yeah.
or something like that. I'm like, does he really need the money that much?
Oh, that's what I thought
that
too.
He needs to do this kind of.
Maybe he just thought it was funny.
Maybe he did.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it's not going to make
That
it
was
about
bad.
that lime.
Coffee Mate one was worse.
Oh, the Coffee Mate one was the tongues.
Oh,
That's what that commercial was for.
Yeah.
Oh,
Coffee Mate.
awful.
No, was it Coffee Mate or was it whipped cream or something like that?
Cold foam.
Cold foam.
Cold foam.
Cold
I'm
foam.
like, what are they trying to do?
That was such a
That
turn
was
off. I'll
bizarre.
never buy that product.
I know, just 'cause that was gross.
It's just
All right,
awful.
break time now on Coffee In, and we're going to take a look at the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
The National Weather Service has declared a winter weather advisory starting 10 p.m. tonight, going till 10 a.m. tomorrow. Isolated snow showers afternoon time today, cloudy skies, a high of 34 and a breeze from the north. Tonight, a mixed bag of snow, freezing rain and rain, oscillating back and forth, overnight low of 30 degrees, winds from the east, an 80% chance of an inch of the wintry mess overnight. Thursday's weather, rain possibly mixed with freezing rain at times before 2 p.m., and a slight chance of rain between 2 p.m. and 4 as it all ends Thursday late afternoon. High of 47 degrees, a breeze from the east, a tenth to a quarter of an inch possible Thursday. Friday, sunshine and 31. Saturday, an 80% chance of snow likely, starting at midday, mixing with rain later, high of 36, calm wind Saturday. Saturday night, 100% chance of rain mixing with snow and some freezing rain overnight, low of 28 degrees and a breeze from the south. Sunday, 100% chance of more rain, this time only rain. High of 41 degrees, but the winds will start kicking up as up to 25 miles per hour from the northwest. Sunday night, rain possibly mixed with snow, becoming snow after 9 p.m., overnight low of 16, so it won't go back to rain, and the wind will howl from the northwest. Then on Monday, Washington's birthday, mostly sunny skies, high of 26, and Tuesday, mostly sunny, high near 24 with a west wind.
All right, currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with the clouds, we have 30 degrees. Thousands of kids are in poverty, have waited over a year for a sponsor. End their wait today. Become a Compassion sponsor. Text radio to 83393.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
Since 1948, their motto has been to give every customer the very best in quality service as well as attention to detail. And that promise continues today at Michaud's Auto Body, a modern 5-stall facility with the latest in technology. Michaud's Auto Body knows that following an accident, you need reassurance about the entire process, including reports, insurance, rentals, and more. Their promise is to give each person all that they are paying for, and then some. Michaud's Auto Body on Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at woonsocketradio.com.
It is Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and John Ward and Tim Draper. And Tim, time for our first message from Navigant Credit Union.
Well, I just want to let folks know that we talk a little bit about fraud a lot. Actually, we talk a lot about fraud and about how to protect yourself from it. I just want to give you a statistic I heard yesterday, which surprised me. Last year in 2024, the credit union stopped $2.5 million of check fraud. Just our
That's
credit
just you,
union,
yeah.
right?
Wow.
$2.5 million in check fraud, which is why I think people need to understand that when you send a check in the mail, sometimes if it doesn't get somewhere, that's a concern you should have, because that has all your information on it, just like if somebody stole your information on the dark web, right? So you need to be careful about who you're sending money to, how you're sending it. Make sure you're using envelopes that you can't see through, that are not unfortunately paper thin, but have some sort of a protective coating inside, or that you're using the provided envelope that the company might send you. But again, if I was a bad guy, I would know that any envelope going to Target would probably have a check in it. So if you can pay anything electronically, digitally, using your online banking or your bill payment service, Navigant has a very easy to use and functional bill payment through online banking, which you're free of charge for you to use. It saves you the stamp, saves you the time going to the post office, and more importantly, it's super secure compared to putting a check in the mail. So my only cautionary tale today from that perspective is be careful who you send checks to and how you send them. And the more identifiable they are in the mail, the higher the chances that somebody might be looking to grab that information. So any questions, give us a call. Go online, navigantcu.org, or give us a call, 233-4700.
All right, I have a question for you, Tim, but first we got to pull our Autumn Fest Milk Fund calendar raffle.
Yay.
Prize today is two $25 Amazon gift cards.
Oh, it's a good one.
So, Melissa, can you please pull out one? And I don't know if you were told, but Amanda LaRose won last Friday.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, we pulled out her name.
So if I pull it again, I should put it back in, is what you're saying?
No, they can win more than once. So who'd you pull out?
Sharon Harmon.
All right, congratulations. You give that to me, and we'll put those.
Can I pick another one?
There. She's from Woonsocket.
Can you pick mine next week?
Why did she get 225? Let's break it into two winners.
I don't know.
One gets 20.
They're supposed to get a $50.
I want to keep picking.
Councilwoman Sharon Harmon?
Well, I don't know, unless you know her phone number.
I don't, not off the top of my head.
It just says Woonsocket, so congratulations. Dave Richards will be calling you to let you know that you've won.
Thank you for having an easy name to pronunciate. Last week there was a
and
challenging
very
one.
Good penmanship, by the way.
And very good penmanship.
So here's the question, Tim. And I picked up the mail yesterday for the station, and I don't know if this is your institution. I didn't open the envelopes. I don't know. But it actually said on the envelope, printed on the envelope, payment enclosed. And so it was a check coming to the station.
Yeah, that's not us.
And I'm thinking, why would they send these out in these kind of envelopes?
Was it pre-printed payment
Yes.
enclosed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Big blue border and white letters. It's basically saying, steal me.
Yeah, it is. That's crazy.
It's basically what
I
it's
would
saying.
not advise anybody to do that.
And I don't know why they would put that on printed on the envelope.
There's
not
got to be someone you
handwritten.
could message right now while we're sitting here on the air to make sure.
I know we don't. I know we don't have that.
Okay.
If we didn't put anything on an envelope, it might say important information inside or member information or something like that.
Basically, don't throw it away.
Don't throw it away and read it. But not. I mean, I can't even imagine, other than a company just looking to be able to route that envelope quickly and efficiently to the receivables department, maybe. But why would you do that?
By the way, it is Sharon Harmon, the councilwoman.
Oh, congratulations. Thanks, John. All right, so pay attention now.
John was all done talking about the envelopes.
No, actually, we got a check at my house yesterday from a bank that was refunding us something for some reason. And unfortunately, it was almost as if when I looked at the envelope, I knew there was something in it different because they went to such a great length to make it innocuous. It didn't have normal things you would see on an envelope from a business. And so it's like, okay, this is either not good news or a check. Yeah. And it turned out to be a check.
All right.
Yeah.
Winning.
All right, so Melissa, just something you need to pay attention to, because I know one of your daughters is a senior in high school, and we're looking at college next year.
Yep.
Brown University is facing a $46 million deficit. So guess how they're going to make it up?
I wonder.
They're raising the tuition by 5%.
They won't lose. They won't lower the president's $1 million plus salary.
No. We're going after the kids. Undergraduate tuition is going up by 5%. So July 1st, it will now be $71,700 plus fees.
Which is actually a steal in my research of colleges lately.
So basically, it's $92,400.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I wasn't including room and board. So you said sorry. Okay, tuition. Yeah, so now that is not a steal.
92.5K.
Now not a steal.
Graduate medical school tuition will also be going up, but I don't have those numbers. But I'm like, so 92,000 is that? I know your daughter's not looking at Brown University, but
no,
is she
she's not.
looking
But
at-
I will tell you, all the schools in general are anywhere from even 65,000 to 90,000 is sort of the
I saw that for private schools, 65,000.
Yeah,
is about
and I
right.
follow this is tacky, but on social media on Facebook, I'm trying to prepare myself for next year and what it's going to look like. There's this moms group thing called Dorm Mamas or whatever, and it's basically a collection of parents, whether you're preparing for college or parents have kids in college, but it's a dumping ground for all topics, what to prepare for, questions, whatever. So there's a lot of people putting questions out there right now about merit money and tuition and all different questions regarding their getting acceptance letters and what does this mean. And I find it kind of unfortunate that a lot of people are trying to trash schools on this site. For example,
Really?
granted, I am an alumni of the University of New Hampshire, but a question,
Go Wildcats.
yeah, a question came up and someone had said, I don't remember the tuition they stated for UNH, and is that normal compared to other universities or whatever? And then someone chimed in on the chat and said, hey, I live in the Durham area, and I just want you to know what the local paper just posted, because they're probably not going to let students coming in be aware of this, but they're projecting a 5% increase for the next couple of years.
Right.
Might be a reason to rethink it. And I thought to myself, you've now out in this public chat, convinced everyone to not go to that school because of a 5% increase, when every school is really doing the same thing right now.
That's right.
My reaction would be only a 5%.
Only, I know. And I so it's, there's a lot of schools. I don't want to trash Brown in the process. It feels like every school, my husband's included at Holy Cross, everybody's going up.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful, but it's not changing our course of action, and our kid still wants to pursue going to school.
You just have to console yourself for the fact that it's not going up like the price of eggs.
Don't buy eggs, except the 5% increase. But one conversation that's taking place right now amongst a lot of parents in my little social circle is really reminding our kids anyways, those that have aspirations to go on to law school or med school or get a master's right from their undergraduate. It's like, this is only for 4 years. Don't spend $90,000 if you don't have to. Find a basic school, get your basic education, invest in that
transfer.
next tier.
Well, listen, I understand. Listen, Brown's deficit is very disturbing, considering they have $7.2 billion.
Is that what you just looked up?
In their
yeah.
endowment? Wow.
Their
It's
endowment,
true.
$7.2 billion. But let's put this on the back of the students.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Hey,
and then those schools like Brown and even honestly Boston College, that was my daughter's real first choice. They don't give merit money anymore. Like these schools, they know people will pay it. So now you're just like
That's the
saturated
problem.
with
They
a
know
very
it.
wealthy
And
population. It becomes elitist.
And
it
how
becomes,
much worse will it get when places like Brown temporarily get worse when the president says, we're not giving you any more federal money because of your curriculum?
Yeah.
Who pays that bill? And how much time is going to be spent spending that endowment in court for lawyers trying to fight over that? And tragically, I'm watching all that fighting going on in Washington with Musk and the Democrats in Congress and the Senate. But I literally, at first, I'm always trying to figure out how to separate the fact from the fiction. Like, oh, they used USAID money for Chelsea Clinton's wedding. No, they didn't. There's all of these stories out there about these terrible things that happened that didn't actually happen. But the one that I was surprised at that actually came out of Elon Musk's mouth. So I'm having to presume that it actually
You hope
is
it's true?
one of the things they found and is true, and he can document is they were cutting checks to people based on the data that would have them be 150 years old to Social Security. And we're cutting checks for Social Security to people whose, as recipients, don't have underlying Social Security numbers, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
You can't be in this country
Without
working
one,
or
yeah.
retired without a Social Security number. But between those two facts alone and the fact that it's dealing with something close to more than $1 billion worth of money that goes out every year for that kind of expenditure, where there are people that on the records 150, that's 1875, really?
Yeah.
But he said it. I'm assuming that's because they actually found it and they can show you the records. And, they complain about all that arguing about get him out of our records and get him out of our system, but aren't they at all concerned about what he's finding?
No.
He said there were some checks that were being sent out with no amount on them.
Oh, great, blank checks.
Yeah. Didn't he say that they're being checks sent to organizations that
checks.
are on the do not pay list that the Treasury has?
And there are some that are literally direct affiliates of terrorist organizations. It's the things that we do quietly in government and just keep doing sometimes make no sense.
But aren't we at the point? Things are coming out of his mouth rapidly. Lots of comments, lots of things, lots of theories. I would like to see evidence. We hear a lot about stuff right now and not a lot of, well, let me show you the evidence.
Well, that's what I'm trying to separate is what's the crap that's being put out
Right.
there. And I've seen plenty of crap put out there. So every time I see something come up on Facebook or X, I go check it out.
Right.
But when Elon Musk is sitting in their Oval Office doing a press conference, and he says there are records of individuals listed as at 150 years old receiving checks. He said, if you can find the person that's 150 years old, bring him to me.
But in some ways, don't you think he's taking the opportunity? I watched a bit of that yesterday, and it was hard to digest in a lot of ways because I felt uncomfortable. I'm looking at my president sitting down, and I'm watching Elon Musk stand sort of over him, and it was just so that's a whole nother conversation. But he had a lot of stuff come out of his mouth, and I just felt like I was buying into some of the sensationalism of it and the need for change. But then I thought, I've been hosed over so many times by things that he said. Even he said,
But you've been hosed
I may
over
not
by
always-
stuff that's been happening for the past 50 years.
completely
That's the problem.
agree. And that's what I'm challenged with right now. I'm
Okay.
having a hard time.
Real quick, just a suggestion. Probably one of the most important related analysis I've ever seen about this question. If you don't get the call every day, go find one from yesterday or look up Washington Post. Mark Thiessen, is that as they say?
I think so.
Thiessen. His column yesterday spoke about how this is what Trump is doing is actually a small scale version of what Bill Clinton did, where his Secretary of State wanted to dismantle USAID then. And they're talking about 60-some thousand layoffs, taking the option to buy out of their employment. Clinton cut 330,000 employees from federal government when he was president. This has happened before. It happens all the time. It's just the way Trump does it. He's flamboyant. Frankly, looking at Trump with Musk, where you saw it as an awkward thing where Musk is standing over Trump and Trump's sitting there making faces and just doing goofy things. I'm sitting there thinking, at least he got somebody that's smarter than him to do the job.
And I looked at it thinking, getting to know Trump's personality, we know Trump's personality, being shocked that he would allow someone to almost upstage him. That's how it looked to me.
But
And his
We got a
ego
break.
attached to that,
Got a break right here. So
Sorry about that.
no, I like ending on that. So Tim, time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union, please.
So if you have a small business, medium-sized business, or even large business, and you're looking for some changes to the way you manage your money in your banking relationship, please give us a call at 233-4700 and ask to speak to somebody on our cash management team. We have a great team that has been assembled over the course of the past year, and we have a great cash management program that we can offer to you to help you run your business as efficiently as you need to. You can be as involved as you'd like to, but more importantly, it's a way for you to manage your payroll, manage your merchant services. We have a full assortment of sweep accounts. There's just a whole host of things that you can come to Navigant Credit Union and take advantage of. So without getting into too much detail on all of them, I just ask you to give us a call again at 233-4700. Ask somebody in the contact center to speak to our cash management team, and we'd be happy to help you, come visit you actually at your business, and even if it's just a conversation, and then say hi.
All right, Tim, thanks. We got a note. We'll get to that when we come back on the Coffee and program. You will always find great homemade food at one of the best restaurants in the Blackstone Valley, Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street in Woonsocket. They're open for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week beginning at 6 a.m. and on Fridays they're open for dinner until 7 p.m. You can always get breakfast all day long at Missy's Family Restaurant. And don't forget about their award-winning Dynamites. Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street in Woonsocket.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hello, my name is Paul Lavallee. I'm a Knight of Columbus with Woonsocket Council 113. Our annual Palm Sunday breakfast is April 13th at Good Shepherd School Gym, 1200 Mendon Road, Woonsocket. Tickets are $15. Children 5 to 11 are 10. Under 5 are free. Menu consists of scrambled eggs, home fries, baked beans, French toast, sausage, coffee, and juice. Tickets can be purchased at St. Joseph's Rectory or any member of the Knights of Columbus. My phone number is 401-651-5533. Thank you for your support.
All right, it's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith, Tim Draper, and John Ward. And what did you find out about the superintendent of schools in Uxbridge? Is he suspended?
He's on administrative leave.
Administrative leave, okay.
Pending
Paid?
the outcome of his court situation.
Okay, so he's on administrative leave right now. All right. The note that came in, it just said they agree they have been, and we're talking about like USAID, sending Social Security checks to dead people. And I'm sure the checks are being cashed by somebody. So.
I think they're sending them the checks because they need cab fare to go vote.
All right, talking about the price of eggs, by the way. This may be the start of something, but Costco and Trader Joe's are limiting how many eggs you can buy in their stores. Trader Joe says 1 dozen per person. So you got to go with your significant other to pick up 2 dozen eggs.
Actually, I opted not to have eggs this morning for
Does
breakfast.
that mean
I
they
had a bowl
can't
of
sell
cereal
them
instead.
18
It's
to a
crazy.
package?
Well,
like they sell in
Costco
some stores?
says it's 3 packages, typically packed to 2 to 4 dozen containers. So Costco sells them
But
more than a dozen.
You can still buy the chicken from Costco for $4.99, right? Unfortunately, it's dead, so it's not going to lay eggs.
I just was having this like laughable chat with my husband this morning about we're not like huge egg eaters, mostly on the weekend. My kids bake on the weekend, so like a dozen eggs, maybe 1 dozen every other week is about what we consume. And I went to the store. We needed eggs. They were $7, and I'm like, I'm not going to get them. That's high.
Yeah.
But I bought $6 strawberries.
See, I would get right.
Okay, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? I'm checking out, and I realize I'm like, what am I doing
My choice
right
is:
now?
do I want to have eggs this morning for breakfast, or do I want my wife to make brownies?
I would
over
go
the
with the
weekend?
strawberries. They're probably healthier for you.
Yeah, I mean they're 2 pounds for $6.99. But I said to myself, this is going to be gone in 2 days with my girls because they just pop them like candy.
Just having this conversation now is making me cringe because my wife just made delicious grape nut pudding the other day.
Yeah.
And that like
Dozen
5
eggs.
But I remember during the pandemic, watching the news and. I'm sorry, not during the pandemic, shortly after, when everyone was complaining about like prices going up and et cetera of groceries. And this one woman was interviewed. I might have mentioned this on the air actually. Heaping carriage full of groceries, like all kinds of cereals, Gatorade racks on the side, like all of it. Looks like a mom of teenage kids. And she was interviewed about the prices going up, and she was talking about how like shocking it was, and I'm gonna have to cut back and all these things. And I'm looking at her carriage as she's being interviewed, and I'm thinking, I don't think you're the person that's really, the best source of the interview. And I include myself in that because when you really talk about the price of eggs being as high as it is, like I would be more concerned if I'm a restaurant owner or if I, we talked about Eggs Up, in Cumberland or some of these breakfast joints. But otherwise, like I think as a like a general household. $7 for a dozen for maybe a little while until this resolves itself isn't.
I've seen some articles about ways you can alternatively replace the nutrients that are in the eggs with other foods.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the strongest suggestions is beans.
Yeah, the
Black-
Magical fruit.
It's,
Like baked beans?
no,
Oh, okay.
Like
they're full of sugar.
Oh, okay.
legumes,
They
all
said black-
beans.
They said black beans.
Like,
but
okay.
It's high protein, not a lot of cost, and you can get the nutrients you need.
and you're not going to
through
get the
that and
bird
other
flu from
things.
beans.
It's true. Hummus.
All right. The important news of the day is the short list is out for the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 2025.
Who are they, Joe? Let's
Should
talk
they
about them.
should they be in the Rock and Roll
is
Hall of
Kendrick
Fame?
Lamar
Here we
on
go.
that at all?
Well, we'll see. And in no particular order, Bad Company.
Okay.
Bad Company should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't- you have no idea who they
give me
are.
give me a song. Give me a cue. Come on, boys.
Feel like making love?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
that-
feel like making
Yeah,
love.
that's
Okay,
bad.
got
That's
it.
Bad Company. All right, the Black Crows.
Okay, yeah. Big fan.
I don't know about that one. Mariah Carey.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right, hold
All
on.
together now.
There's two Mariah Careys.
Right,
There's Mariah
right.
Carey that came out with her
Before-
first album.
Before the Christmas song.
Amazing. And then everything after that first album was just.
Is this like a pop wing of the rock and roll?
No,
Hall
they're
of
all
Fame?
under one roof.
It was in Dolly Parton.
They
made it
really
for
don't
rock.
belong in the same
I
building
know.
at all.
It should be the Music Hall of Fame, but it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chubby Checker.
Oh,
Okay.
I think so. He
There we
should
go.
be in
Even
there.
John liked
What
it.
took so long?
I don't know.
he's still alive?
I believe he
How old
is.
is he?
I believe he is.
He's chubby.
Joe Cocker.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right, give me another song because I'm.
With a little help from
Twins.
my friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Billy Idol.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
White Wedding, man.
Never
Yeah.
been a big fan, but I get it.
I love Billy Idol.
Joy Division / New Order.
Who?
So he's like, no,
Yeah.
no.
You're into the realm of
Yeah.
when I stopped listening.
Cyndi Lauper.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's a good one.
choice.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, some of these you have to. I mean, some of these you have to recognize too that they're beyond just performance. Many
Right.
of them are
Artists. They
Songwriters.
songwriters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or producers.
Yep.
I don't think anybody's going to know this. Mana, Mana. They're a Mexican band.
I know Moana.
I mean, yeah, I do.
It's just Mana.
No, no, I don't.
Oasis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fan, but I remember
I
them.
thought they only had like one song.
Well, I would hope they're not putting one-hit wonders in there.
I hope
I
not
hope
either.
not. Outcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
If
he
that's the
wasn't
case,
my
let's put
thing,
Thomas
but
Dolby in there.
Fish.
yeah,
All right. Okay.
that they are well loved in the
Oh yeah.
weed smoking
Is it
community.
grunge world? Is that?
Soundgarden. Speaking of grunge.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of '90s bands in
Yeah.
here.
The White.
Well, those are classic music right
I
now,
know.
Melissa. I got news for
The
you.
White Stripes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's
All right. That's it.
Someone just told me that. Is it B101?
Company should be in
B101
there.
now is hits from the 70s, 80s, and 90s or
Right.
something like that.
Everything
and I'm like,
that
what?
I loved in early '80s and late '70s is just classic rock. I'm like, oh my god.
That's
how old am
why
I?
not the restaurants, the grocery stores play the best music.
They do. You're
I'm
right.
just dancing in the aisles.
So good.
This is the best
60s,
stuff going.
60s and 70s is basically classically rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get into the 80s, it starts fading away.
Changes a little bit. Yep.
Changes. 90s, forget it.
All right, we
So-
got a
That's you.
It's all boy,
80s
it's
and
all
90s,
boy
yeah.
bands crap.
something you should think about at St. Antoine Communities, maybe at Navigant Credit Union too. Italian researchers say you should pet your dog before you leave home. Researchers at the University of Pisa have found that if you pet your dog one last time before you head out the door, it'll reduce anxiety for your furry family member and for you as well.
Oh, I probably should. I just look at Edison and I go, "I'll see you later."
See you later.
I walk out the door.
No, I give
should
a
probably
lot of
pet the little
cuddles.
guy.
They
All
say
right.
it takes just 5 minutes of petting to lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and boost oxytocin, the feel-good hormone. In their view, that's a win-win for the dog and the owner.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
Maybe you want to bring him into the office
dog's-
too.
I was going to say, I did bring in my dog last week. We have a gentleman that moved into our memory care assisted living who just has been a little bit shy and just a little like nervous Nelly, new surroundings, trusting people, all the things. So it was a Friday afternoon and I'm like, you know what? I don't live far. I grabbed my little white fluffy dog. This is him, Brody.
Oh, Brody.
Very cute on the phone.
Very cute. And so I brought him to work because I knew that this gentleman loves dogs. And sure enough, Brody worked his magic.
Oh, great.
I'm like, you know what? We need to go for a little walk. Let's just, take him outside for a little bit up and down the hallway. 1 or 2 laps. You got to move your legs. Boom. Out.
You loved it.
Up, out, walking around, met people.
Just thought of this
Right.
while you're talking about your facility. You ever see the show? It's a new show called Man on the Inside. It's with Ted Danson.
Yes.
Did you like it?
No.
Oh, come on. It was great.
I wanted to so badly, but I found myself just saying, this is so not accurate. But I had a lot of
I was hopeful that that's what it would look
that
like.
I would like to do a spin on it. I think honestly that was less assisted living. That was more independent living.
Where's it streaming?
Netflix?
I think
no.
Or Apple?
It's Ted Danson. He's fantastic.
Yeah, it's called Man on the Inside.
All right.
And he is someone who's retired who has kind of
lost his wife.
His kids were worried that he wasn't really doing much with his time anymore, and he
Right.
saw a job advertisement for an undercover job.
Right, needs somebody to help with
Yep.
a private detective firm, and so there was a case where somebody stole a watch in the
In an
independent
assisted living facility.
He moved in
as a plant.
as a
As a
plant,
plant, yep.
and it just
Is it funny?
It's Sally Struthers
is
in it
cute.
from Archie
She's
Bunker.
great.
She's
She's
great.
great.
Yeah,
It sounds great. I only have one problem with it.
it's on a
I
streaming
can't
service.
stand Ted Danson.
Oh,
Come on, Sam Malone.
But I did
love
notice
Sam Malone.
just starting yesterday, I saw HBO. You were talking about watching Network.
Yeah, a
HBO
newsroom. Yes.
started showing all of the episodes of Network.
really?
Oh yeah.
So I watched
So-
4 seconds of one, and then I switched to channel.
All right, we
no,
got-
it's not that I don't want to go back and watch them.
I should have known.
I'll probably go back and watch them. See what it's all about.
It reminds me of West Wing in a sense that you have to you do have to pay attention. There's a lot of, but it's all current topics at the time. Ooh, I think when it was filmed.
All right, we got.
Sorry, we're going.
Yeah, we're over.
Here we
We're
go.
over time, but one more thing, because Trump wants to buy Greenland. Thousands of Danish citizens have launched their own effort. They want to purchase California, and I say we sell it to them.
Yeah, I said let them take it.
They can have it.
It's all
It's
you guys.
all yours.
Take it.
You worry about the fires. All right, thanks for listening in to the program today. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Tim Draper, thanks for being here.
See you, Joe. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
And John Ward, thanks for coming
Hey,
in.
be careful tomorrow morning because it's going to get icy, I guess. But for today, go out and enjoy the God-given day.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
This is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island State Representative Enrique Sanchez is standing firm, saying that he will not resign